Welcome back to RTOD. I want to talk about something tonight that's not retro, but it is technology, and I would invite you to have a similar conversations with your friends, especially your family, maybe the elderly who aren't as internet savvy. Over the past week and a half, I have seen a huge uptick of a particular type of spam email. I've gotten 5 of them myself, and I know other people have gotten a lot, and Reddit posts and other security forums are talking about this a lot. And as of right now, it seems to mostly affect North America, but I want to talk about it and let everybody know because the more awareness we have with cybersecurity and scams, the better we are to protect ourselves. So it starts off with an email that you receive. The subject is your name, but it's last name, first name. Unusual. I wouldn't put that as a subject. If you open the email up, you see there's an attachment, but in the body of the email, it has your address. But a couple things were weird about this that stuck out right away. It has my address there, but it's last name, first name, then my address like you would write out. However, I live on a lane, Lane. It's not a street, it's not a road, it's a lane. Most people, myself included, if I'm sending a letter to Elaine, not Elaine the woman, but a lane address, or if I'm writing it out in an email like, hey, this is my address, boom, 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 at Lane, I'm going to write out Lane. Typically, I'm not going to write out LN. Some people will, but the vast majority of the mail I receive is Lane. This shows it exactly as USPS or any other official source would list your address. Now, remind you, open source, you can find people's names and address. And then it shows my cell phone number. It's a cell phone I've had since, 2001, probably earlier, right? Had it for a very long time. One thing that's a little unusual about it is it's all of the numbers crammed together, no hyphens. Typically in the United States, if I'm going to tell you or if I'm going to write out my phone number, it's going to be area code, so 3 digits, tac or a hyphen, another 3 digits, hyphen, and then the last 4. Rarely in an email am I going to put all of them together, right? So a little fishy, but again, now this for an individual who doesn't have a lot of cybersecurity experience or is maybe a little gullible, for lack of a better word, is going to get a little concerned because here we have an email from somebody we don't know. In this case, it's from a Rista Lab. I assume it's a real email, probably an email that they got on the dark web with a password and sending these out. So that makes you a little nervous. The subject is your name, the body is your full address, and a phone number. I have your attention now. And then there's an attachment. Now, hey, real talk. If you get an email from somebody you don't know that looks suspicious with an attachment, don't open it. But we're going to open it because I want to go over this with you. And it's basically a letter format, right? But it just opens up with your full name. First, last name, no dear, no salutation, just your first and last name. The first sentence reads, I know that calling, insert phone number here, or visiting, insert address here, would be a convenient way to have a chat with you if you don't cooperate. Don't try to escape from this. You have no idea what I'm capable of. Insert your town here. You see there's some formatting with that, right? We're picking up on some things. Basically, what they're trying to do is this is an extortion scam, right? Specifically, it's sextortion, which we'll talk about in a second here. But the author of this is trying to intimidate you. They're trying to get you nervous because somebody will read this. Oh, you know my phone number, you know my address, you know the town I'm in. It's going to get better. But they're going to be a little scared. If you go read through this, right, they want you to take a moment, chill, breathe, and analyze the email because, as they say, I ain't playing games. Basically, what the gist of this email is, they're saying, look, you've been careless on the internet. You've installed some malware on your computer, and they have video, because of your webcam, of you going to certain websites online, for lack of a better term. And they're going to release this video to embarrass you for some reason. However, if you pay them $1,950 to this Bitcoin address, they'll delete the video and it'll, like it never happened. A couple things here. They're trying to scare you, right? The author talks about, where is it? While you were watching videos, your system started out working as an RDP, remote protocol, which allowed me complete access to your smartphone. I could peep at everything on your display, flicking your camera and mic, and you wouldn't have a clue. So, and they says, and I've got access to all your emails, contacts, and social media accounts too. So a couple things here, right? RDP, remote protocol, that is a real thing on Windows devices. Allows administrators to remote in, do changes, help desk stuff, sort of like that. Certainly wouldn't apply in a Macintosh environment or a Linux environment. So, okay, there you go. But then you're saying, hey, you got into my system with a Windows remote protocol, but you have access to my smartphone. Well, doesn't make sense. I have an iPhone. That's not going to be in the Windows remote protocol environment unless you're using remote desktop on it. It gets very complicated. It gets complicated for me. But for your average user, this is concerning. Now you're saying, oh man, you have video of me going to websites and you have access to all my contacts. Hey, they can get rid of it if I pay them. Now, mind you, no, the emails like this aren't real. And this is what we really need to address here. Nobody's going to send you an email out of the blue demanding money to delete videos of you. Multiple things here are wrong with this. Most computers, most laptops today with webcams, at least integrated webcams, are going to have a privacy shutter on it. Even USB ones will have a shutter. And if those cameras are in use, a light will come on. Now, mind you, somebody out there is saying, yeah, but you know what? We could go in back doors and have NSA level stuff. Sure, but here's the deal, right? If somebody with NSA level malware and spyware is getting into your system to record videos of you, they're not going to send you an email asking for Bitcoin money. You're just going to take it from my account. You're not going to go through this rigmarole. This is an extortion scam. Then it goes to say you have 1 day to sort this out and I will only accept Bitcoin. My favorite part is I have a special pixel in this email, and right now I know that you have read my email. My system will catch that Bitcoin payment and wipe the dirt I got on you. You have a pixel in the email? That doesn't make any sense. My favorite part about this is if you scroll down to the bottom of the email, there is a cropped Google Street View of your house, your address, whatever, right? But what's interesting about this one, and I'm showing it because this is not my address. I know where this is. It's down the road. It's not my address because if you put in my address in Google Street View, it's not my road. It's not even on my road, right? That's how off it is in this area. There's a lot of reasons for it. Private road. Google hasn't been here in a while. It doesn't matter. But you can understand that somebody who is not as savvy doesn't understand how these things could be really scared because you know my name, you know my address, you know my number, and you have a picture of my house. Mind you, it is cropped to remove the Google Maps Street View watermark on the side. But for a lot of people, unfortunately, this is scary. This is intimidating. And I would hope the vast majority of you watching this video right now are thinking, this wouldn't apply to me. I'm smarter than this. And yes, you are. And I'm glad. But scams like this aren't looking for everybody to pay. They're probably sending out hundreds of thousands of these emails. And that's realistic, right? They're only looking for a very small portion of it to pay because the amount of work they put into this is probably very minimal. If one or two people pay or even pay a partial amount, it's going to be a huge win for them. And when I say a lot of this isn't a lot of work. If you Google, just take any paragraph of this and paste it into the Google machine, you'll see many, many other examples of it. And really all it is it's kind of a script when you think about it. We can put in here, insert first name here, last name, insert. That's why I said it when I originally read this to you. Insert phone number, insert address, insert town. The rest of it is copy and paste. Boom, boom, boom. The paragraphs are all the same because there's no personal identifiable information in there. There is a Bitcoin address. Now, I am not showing this full Bitcoin address because I have a hunch that the addresses are unique or semi-unique, so that way they know who pays. Because if you look up other templates of this, there are, so far I've seen 6 or 7 different Bitcoin address combinations. I haven't seen mine yet, or at least this combination. So it kind of makes me think that whoever's behind this has multiple Bitcoin addresses, and those are assigned to so many of these emails. Maybe like, A through D or E, something like that. Some way to organize on the back end of how this is going. Other things in here that are interesting is some of the language. Some of it is fairly formal. Some of it is fairly informal. I've invested in more days than I should have digging into your data, extracted quite a bit of juicy info from your system, and seen it all. Yeah, I have got footage of you doing quote-unquote filthy things in your room. Nice setup, by the way. I like that part. I then developed videos and screenshots where on one side of the screen there's a video of you had been enjoying, on the other part it's your vacant face. With just a single click, I could send this filth to every single one of your contacts. Okay, sure. That doesn't scare me. Other people, that might scare other people. It doesn't matter, right? The point is they are just shoving this email out and seeing who really bites and who sends them the money. Now, there are things I have in my setup here and in my network and with my systems, the way I run just my computerized life, to know that, this wouldn't apply to me. But some people would be scared. So why am I doing this video, right? Most of us would agree this is a pretty innocuous scam email. Just delete it. But unfortunately, as we know, there are people out there who get an email like this. They get scared. They pay up. It's the same people who receive a phone call from the IRS asking them to pay in gift cards, right? Most of us would laugh that off, maybe try to have a little fun with them on the phone to mess with them. But there are a small portion of people who receive that phone call, get scared, and then pay up. And I'm really asking you to have a conversation with your friends, your family, your coworkers, especially the older people, the less computer inclined people, because these are threats. They are, and they're real, and people fall for it every day. And unfortunately, the way some of these are set up, whether it's gift cards or Bitcoin addresses, once you complete that transaction, there's really nothing we can do. That money's gone. They have it. I'm sorry. And even some of these things, if you go to law enforcement, there's not a whole lot they can do. Scammers like this are relatively pretty dumb. However, they know enough to cover their tracks. That way, casual law enforcement or your casual user aren't going to find them, right? So please take some time, talk to your friends, talk to your family members, understand cybersecurity, and understand ways that you can protect yourself. If you get one of these emails, or if you're concerned about your security, or you want to help somebody with their security, there's a couple things you could do. You can go to websites like haveibeenpwned.com, type in your email address, and it'll tell you if you have any compromised accounts. If you do, you should change the passwords immediately. You really should have a robust password, two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication, apps, anything to have an extra level of security. That way, if you're logging into something, you should be getting a push notification. Another thing you could do is, I use Google Chrome. Some people don't like it. I like it. It's easy. I have a lot of things in the Google environment. But one thing I like about it is if you go to settings under passwords, it'll show if any of your passwords are compromised. Go through that. Look at it. change those passwords. Um, it's amazing. There are accounts on there that right now I know are compromised that I haven't used in 20 years for some of these things. And they could be, relatively tame accounts with no banking information, no username information. But the point is, it's all about aggregate information. If I can get into your account or even an older account, and I know an older password you used, a lot of people just put another number at the end of the password or a number and a character combination. If I have a jumping off point, it makes it easier to get to where you are now. All right. Now, mind you, the vast majority of targets that people are looking after in some of these scams, they're not going to go through that effort if they're just going to try to extort some money out of you. They're just going to go with the lowest common denominator and try to get whoever pays. But be safe. Change your passwords. Check your passwords. Check your accounts. Help your friends and loved ones do the same. I would like to think that a lot of people watching my channel are a little more computer illiterate, whether it's with the Apple II or Windows 10, I don't care, but you're probably above average. But because of that, we need to help other people. And if this is new to you, hey, leave a comment. Did this help you? Did this make you more aware of your cybersecurity and where you stand in the world? I just want to make sure we're all safe. Please share this video with your friends. If you've gotten this email or a similar email, comment below. Let's talk about it. I want to see how widespread this is. Like I said, I see a lot of these mostly hitting the United States. But if you're in Europe or even Canada, I'd be interested if this is going up north to Canada. If you've seen similar scams like this, put comments down below. Let's talk about it a little bit. But please don't click on the links. Don't open any of that stuff. Just tell me you got it in kind of your location or your country. I want to see how widespread this is. That's going to wrap this up. I cleared off the desk specifically for this because I'm kind of in a bunch of other videos and other projects I'm doing right now. But this was important enough to put all of that on hold to have this conversation with you. And please have this conversation with others.